Hey, mamas, good morning. Good morning. All right, so I just want to make sure that we are actually live because Facebook is being a little bit wonky lately. Okay, let's see. Click on this. Hey, mama. There we go. All right, cool. I just want to make sure that I can, see all your comments as you guys are coming on. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. So, okay, great. So I wanted to come on and talk to you a little bit about summer schedules, what my summer schedule looks like. How do you get work done while the kids are home? If you've got any questions about this, please feel free to put them in the comments. Hey, Jordan, good morning. Let me know what you're kind of worried about as we're going into summer. But I'll talk to you a little bit about what I do and what some of the other entrepreneurs I know do. And I think, so first of all, I think it is really important to have realistic expectations about what you want summer to look like. Okay. I personally do not want to be at my desk all summer long. I just don't. I don't like being at my desk all day anyways. And so for me, and it's funny, I just recorded a podcast episode that's going to come out next week about creating your summer schedule. Or for any season really. But I think that it's really important that we understand that, especially if you've got kids that are going to be home, from school, that the summer's going to be more hectic. Okay. We have the ability to set the tone for summer, right? That's totally on us. And so we can set the tone that, oh my God, we're going to do all the things and we're going to go, because we only have 3 months and then it's going to get cold again. Or you can be like, okay, we're going to have a really great summer. And some of it, we're going to get to do stuff that's fun. And sometimes we're just going to chill out and relax around the house. But we're going to have a fun summer. And it doesn't have to be crazy and it doesn't have to be hectic, but you get to set the expectations. So if you set the expectations that we're going to run, go, we're all going to be exhausted when we get back to, school, then that's one way the summer could go. But I really think that, especially after Zoom school and COVID and just all of the craziness over the last year, that maybe this summer needs to be kind of chill. Okay. And so what we're planning to do this summer is going to be some local beach days. It's going to be just kind of like hanging out, in our yard and having some fun there. We got passes to the zoo, so we'll probably go to the zoo a lot because the zoo's not that far from our house. Pretty chill, I don't want to I don't want to be running around in summer. I just don't. I don't know about you guys, but that's not what I'm looking for. So what is my summer? How's my schedule going to change because of summer? So one thing is Eric is going to bed later, which means we are going to bed later, which means that we are waking up later. And that's just something that we have to, come to terms with. So yes, we're waking up. I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning. And I'm okay with that. Because we're going to bed later and I want to make sure that I get enough sleep. So changing my expectations, right? And saying, okay, so again, summer schedule, okay? we're going to go to bed later. We're going to wake up later. So if I don't wake up till 7, then I'm probably not going to get to my desk until 9. By the time I do, I have breakfast, we all get dressed, we all shower. It's probably 9 o'clock by the time that I get to my desk. And so I've got a solid 2.5 hours to get done. Hey, Tammy, good morning. I have about 2.5 hours to get done everything that needs to get done, like work-wise. Okay. Because Jeff watches Eric in the morning. Now, the flip side of that is that if I decide, okay, I'm going to, we're going to do something in the morning, like maybe we're going to go to the zoo or something like that, then when Eric goes for rest time in the afternoon, then I get that for work time. Okay. And that is, that might be like 2 hours in the afternoon. But I really believe, and I see this, especially when I'm outside of busy season, I will sit at my desk and I will fill the time. It's not always productive. It's not always the thing that probably should be done. But I will always fill the time at my desk. Okay, so sometimes it's like, well, I'm going to check on Facebook, and since going on Facebook might not be the best use of my time. But if I know like my time is shorter at my desk, I will do the most important things because I know that that is the time that I have. And so I am very deliberate, especially on my short days. This is what I have to get done today, right? This is what's going to move things forward, whether it's moving the business forward, whether it's networking, whatever that thing is that I need to do for the business to move the business forward. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. And it's much easier, I think, to do that the shorter time you have at your desk. So typically work in the mornings, then I take about 2 hours off and have time with Jeff and Eric. Sometimes we go swimming. Sometimes we just kind of hang out and play. And so that will go actually about an hour and a half. That'll go until about 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is the start of Eric's rest time. Okay. And yes, we do rest time. We do rest time all summer. We do rest time all the time. So what is rest time? Rest time, you can call quiet time. A lot of times it turns into nap time. Okay, Eric's 3, a lot of times it's still nap time for him. But it's basically a time where he goes into his room, he has lots of books in his room, he has quiet toys in his room, he's got his bed in his room, he's got lots of stuffed animals he can cuddle with. And it's just kind of a time that after, the busy morning of playing hard and really running around, that he has an opportunity to just kind of sit and play. Now, I know a lot of you thinking, well, an hour and a half, that's like, my kid's never going to do that. It's something that you can work up to. So if your kids aren't used to doing quiet time, or maybe you stop doing nap time, or your kids, technically we don't stop nap time. Usually the kids stop nap time. If your kid has stopped nap time and you just kind of went into like, okay, now my kid's going to be active all day, then you can build up to having quiet time. And it's really good for Eric. Even if he doesn't nap, he comes out refreshed because it's just good. Like, it's very low stimulation. It's just kind of time for him to just kind of like be a kid in his room, have some fun. And like I said, most of the time it turns into a nap, which is really great. So that gives Jeff and I some time that we're actually working at the same time, which is kind of nice because that allows us to collaborate on projects, which is really, really helpful. So that is very useful. Okay. And then in the afternoons, that's usually my time that sometimes I'll take Eric to the park. Sometimes we'll just play in the backyard. We might go swimming together. Sometimes we work on learning stuff. But that's kind of like, that's his time to like play with mom. Okay. Sometime in there I'll prep some dinner. I do a lot with the crock pot or the foodie, or we have an Instapot. I try to do things that are relatively quick, or things that I can put in the oven and just let them go, right? And not have to like tend to them and pay attention and that kind of thing. I love freezer meals. The Passionate Penny Pincher is great for that, because she has a couple different boxes. She has a freezer meal one, she has a crock pot one, and her meals are all great. We've liked everything we've tried for her. It's been pretty awesome. Then sometimes in the evening we'll go swimming again, or we'll go for a walk together. We'll go ride bikes. Sometimes if we have errands to run, we'll run like an errand after dinner. And then Eric, we try to get Eric to go to bed about 7:30. But with it being light out, he usually stays up. He's been staying up until about 9. So, and then, Jeff and I kind of use the evening to, clean up around the house, do a little bit of, sporadic cleaning, get some relaxation time, and then, hopefully try to get to bed. So notice, like, in all of that, right? If I get my ideal day to work for me, I get about 2.5 hours to work in the morning, and I get about an hour and a half in the afternoon. Okay. So I have about a 4-hour workday. And that's because, I have the luxury of having Jeff at home with me. Now, if I don't, if Jeff isn't here, or, Jeff has appointments or something else is going on, then I get about an hour and a half in the afternoon. And then I get whatever I can put in either before Eric wakes up, which Eric wakes up about 7:30 maybe, or whatever I can get done after Eric goes to bed. Okay. So, and I still, if I basically worked, let's say that I worked after Eric went to bed, if we put Eric down about 7:30, right? So if I did like 7:30 to 9, then I'd have another hour and a half in the evening. Okay. And I think it's really, really helpful. One thing that we do is we kind of clean as we go. And so that really helps. So that way, like, we don't have like a giant mess after, after dinner's over. So that super helps. My kids used to say, but it's still light outside. I know it's so hard. Like, Eric's like, Mommy, it's still more, because Eric thinks that it's morning time until it's nighttime, right? So we have morning time and nighttime, and those are the 2 times. We're still working on afternoon and evening and, all the other times. And so he's like, Mommy, it's still morning time. It's light out. And I'm like, no, honey, welcome to Florida. It's light much more often here than it was at home. So yeah, so it's really tough. But we've got shades in his room, and we darken his room as much as we can. The other thing that we've done too, which has been really successful, is say, okay, you can play. I'm going to turn your light off. You can play as long as there's light, right? As long as there's light in the room, you can still play. And so, my son's 5 and he still thinks that too. Yeah, it's how there's morning time and there's nighttime. And so it's funny because he'll wake up from his nap and he's like, is it morning time? And I'm like, no, honey, it's afternoon. He's like, I don't know what that is. Like, all right, I give up. So yeah, so we will actually, we'll leave the shades open in his room. We'll say, okay, as long as there's light on, you can play with your stuff, but then when it gets too dark to play, you've got to go lay down. And that will work too, because again, it kind of gives him some time to calm down on his own, to relax on his own before he gets into to bed. But it's funny, like he's one of those kids that he'll just crawl into bed when he's ready. I've always thought we never find him asleep like on the floor, or like in a funky position. Like he always gets himself into bed to go to sleep. So I think that's kind of cool. All right, so hopefully, hopefully from this, sorry, this was a little rambly, but you kind of see that like our schedules are pretty relaxed. Okay. Identify what your possible working hours are. And I think it's really important to think of like, okay, what are my minimum working hours, right? And minimum working hours means if everything else goes to crap, okay, where can I fit working time into my day? And so typically for me, that's after Eric goes to bed. So I know like if everything else goes south, like if we have appointments during the day, if there are things we have to do, I know that from 7:30 to 9, I can work. Right? I know that because like Jeff will be home from work, Eric will be in his room chilling out, or Eric, well, Jeff will be home, and so I have that time, right? I can take that time. I know I can have that time. Sometimes I might be too tired to use that time, but I have that time. Okay. And so I think that knowing that that's there and saying, okay, what would I need to get done in my work day? Right? If I only have an hour and a half, if that's all I have, what are the things I have to get done in that hour and a half? There might be other things that you want to do, right? And if you have more time throughout the day, you can do those. But always know what those essential things are that you have to get done if that's the only time you have. Okay? Really, really important. All right. So hopefully that helps. I'd love to know what you guys have planned on your summer schedule, what you guys want to get done. Let me know. Leave it in the comments, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. All right, mamas. Love you very much. I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.